Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. We've got another Kiriko today. This one is in Gold 5. So, they say here, they made a post for both tank and DPS already, and this will be my last for now. Simply, I'm trying to climb in all three roles. Been using Kiriko. She's fun and has good carry potential. I've definitely made mistakes, like holding onto my Kitsune for Rush for too long. Currently Gold 5, but was in a 5 stack of low mid-plat players. I think one of them was Diamond 5, just looking for tips on how I can improve. Alright, so yeah, I like the team comp for the most part. Not in love with the Mei pick, but it's defense, so it's not the worst thing in the world. You've got the Ana, you got the Kiriko. Those are two meta supports to be playing. Ana can nano boost the Genji. You can ult when the Ramatra ults and pair up those two ults together. You can use your E ability on both Ana anti-nades, which the enemy team is running, and you can use them when Mei tries to freeze people. So you've got ample opportunity to be cleansing here. So let's see what we got.
Carried on the wind.
So that E there, a little on the premature side, not really needed. Good headshot. Nice, nice. Yeah, you can kind of DPS here a little bit just because there's not a lot of damage being taken. Nice headshot there too. Genji needs heals. Oops. What did I say? Yeah, okay. So yeah, I like you being up here, play high ground, try to stay out of the way, heal people from high ground, and then just drop down when you lose line of sight if they start falling back or, you know, you start shooting damage here. Now, right here, I don't know why you dropped down and decided to start frontlining a tank, and then you ate a javelin. You had to use your E ability to save your poor positioning there. Staying high ground or dropping back would have been the proper thing to do.
Restoring balance. Thanks for the heal.
Heal your Mei.
I've got you.
So... yeah, okay, teleporting to the Mei there was okay just because you're trying to get value out of this Mei ult. Unfortunately, it's just not a very good one and nobody's in it. So at this point, you want to get to your Ramatra, which you do. Heal your Ana and then get to your Ramatra who is ulting. Not Mei. Yeah, so that teleport to the Mei cost you that whole team fight. A wave of healing to the Ana and then pop over to the Ramatra who was ulting, and you just... when a Ramatra ults as a support player, you have a responsibility to be feeding every resource you have available to that Ramatra while he's ulting. That will change when the Ramatra ult gets nerfed, but for the remainder of this season, Ramatra's ultimate just never... it doesn't go away until everybody's dead or far away from wherever they, you know, from the Ramatra. So as a support, speeding them around with Kiriko ultimate, cleansing Ramatra with Kiriko's E ability, throwing all your healing coupons into him while he's ulting, you know, playing Lucio, speeding him around, Ana pumping him full of heals, all, you know, any support that you're playing, resources need to be completely deviated to that Ramatra when in ult form. So all you're gonna do here with this Mei is you'll eat up a few extra seconds, but ultimately the fight could have potentially been won. And this is what I mean, like, okay, the Mei's stalling for a little bit, so some time will get eaten, but That's a little side consolation prize, but the reward could have been a one team fight from the ulting Ramatra. So, you know. Okay, you were able to save the Ana, that's good. Now just pump your Ramatra full of heals and throw a few damage shots in. You're a little damage heavy right now, but I mean, I guess the Ana's kind of got the Ramatra going, so it works. And again, I usually say this to all the Kiriko players out there. For rounds that aren't complete and total stomps, one way or the other, that actually kind of go the distance, or at least half of the distance, try to have at least 1k damage minimum done, because you could probably have gotten that off of a Mercy damage boost. So if you're going to heal bot, you might as well have been playing Mercy. So, oh, that was early. That was early right there. So, okay. Mei's ulting, your Ramatra's in it. He's not frozen. He's not frozen. You could have waited. That could have waited a little bit and then pop it. Throw that pop out there. Cleanse him after he's frozen. And even, you could even say frozen for like a second or two, just because like he's got a lot of HP right now. And the Ana's not in this, so she can keep him up too. But definitely cleansing Ramatra is the play there, but not, that was a little premature. Because like right there he would have needed it, but or he wouldn't have even gotten it if you would have timed it correctly. So right now just catch up on healing, catch up on healing.
Now go get him.
I would get to that mid ground on either one of these two platforms and then be healing from up there. Also, the Mercy's rezzing, so ping the Mercy and start trying to damage her a bit, and hopefully this Mei turns around and notices it.
They brought one back. Your wounds run deep. Engaging the enemy.
Yeah, it would have. So if you guys are a 5-stack, I'm not really feeling the coordination here. Like, why was the Mercy not called out? Why did the Ramatra not turn around? Why did he keep moving in when you and the Mei basically kind of had to spin around and try to focus her down? The coordination feels very off. So at this point, just get out. All the way out, all the way back, all the way. Keep going, keep going. Yep. Okay, so you don't need to walk through this choke. You could wait for the Ramatra to get into a spot and then just teleport to him. So then that way you're not catching any flack coming through the choke. I would be looking to Kiriko ult here as well, just because your Ramatra has ult. And with that, you guys should be able to regain momentum. Okay, so I don't hate your ultimate, but your Ramatra didn't seem ready for it, and he never ulted. So, again, not feeling the team coordination here. For a 5-stack, I'm not seeing it.
I'm here.
Okay, so you teleport to the Moira. We're going to just commit to stalling. Which I'm not saying is bad. I'm just kind of calling it as I see it here. Okay, so another premature E that should have been kept for a Mei ult. You should have. So one thing you got to do when you're playing these games is you got to kind of ult track a little bit. The really good players can do it for just about everybody in the game. For somebody in a gold, I would even say in a plat level on down, if you're a support player, try to track for the heroes you're trying to counter. So if you're Lucio and the enemy's got a Genji and you're going to, you know, Lucio beat drop a Genji blade, you got to be able to kind of keep track of that and kind of get an idea of when the Genji's going to ult. In this case for Kiriko, it would be the Mei in this case. Like, you got to kind of get an idea of when Mei's going to ult. So then that way you know you've got your E ability ready to cleanse and save people, including yourself, from being frozen. You did that way prematurely, and because you just used it, that gave the Mei free, ample opportunity to just freeze both of you. And you died because of it.
Time to try again.
Okay, you should be able to get back. Just teleport to your Ramatra as soon as you can. Yeah, you were trying to, but the Mei got in the way. That's unfortunate.
Protects you.
Oh, just heal, heal, heal. Okay, just commit every resource you have now to your Ramatra. Nice. So yeah, if you had your ultimate there, that Ramatra might have been able to chase down those other people and gotten a team wipe, or at least kept the ultimate going a little longer. I think you had the right intention with your last ultimate, but I don't know if it's a coordination thing or what the deal was there. So yeah, I'm fine with you taking some random DPS shots, and now your tank needs heals, so you go to him. That's all fine, no issue there. Maybe just work on the aim a little bit from shooting from high ground. If you feel like you're just not hitting your shots from high ground, you could have went to that mid ground spot and maybe tried it from there. But either way. Yeah, so the one problem I have with your guys' team comp is the enemy's running their own Ramatra, and you guys really don't have much of anything in terms of dealing with an enemy Ramatra. And that's not really so much on you. It's more to do with the DPS. A Junkrat, what else? Junkrat's the one that's like popping to mind right now. Maybe a Cassidy for a high noon. Anything that does high burst damage that can melt an ulting Ramatra. But Junkrat's the one that's like really sticking in my mind right now, and they're running one. So like the next time your Ramatra ults, if Junkrat has Tire, he can just blow him up and suddenly the ult dies with it. So countering Ramatra ult is, for at least the next 9 or however many days are left in the season at the time of making this video, that's going to be a very imperative thing to do. And I'm only pointing that out because this is a 5-stack that I'm assuming you know, so maybe you can relay that to them. The ultimate's getting nerfed at season 3, and it's only going to last for upwards of 20 seconds, I believe it was. So the ultimate won't last forever anymore. So then that means countering a Ramatra ult will be a little less vital. I think it's still going to be a pretty strong ultimate, but time will tell. But in the meantime, for the remainder of season 2, that kind of falls on the DPS primarily. You could kind of soft counter it with like a Reinhardt shield or something like that. Sometimes Lucio, where you could just speed people away, or a Symmetra, you could teleport people away. But, you know, you get the idea. But ultimately, I'd like to see like a Junkrat to killing the Ramatra. So you try to contest, it doesn't work out. No big deal. The Mei ults. Oh, they're still holding this. Oh, that's risky. Wow, that might actually work out. That was a risky ultimate, but I think it panned out. I think. I like the wall climb and trying to just be hard to hit and kind of getting out of rough spots. Wow. So I'm going to be honest, I feel like I would have held on to that ultimate and probably would have just ended up using it on the 3rd point. It worked out for you guys, so kudos. It was risky and the risk paid off. I can't say I would recommend doing that most of the time, and most of the time that probably does not work out, but it worked out there, so, you know, that's pretty cool.
Ready for battle.
But yeah, the one thing I especially saw that I like there is that the little wall climb and then falling back to the ground to just be rough to hit. So this team comp here is going to be rough, primarily because of the Zen. It's going, you know, going through that choke is kind of on the rougher chokes to get through, unless you're taking a Symmetra teleporter. But Zen could be a little rough for that. Now, if Zen gets like a charged up right click and picks somebody off, that changes things a little bit. But typically speaking, I'm not a big fan of Zen on attack here. Not saying it can't work, but I am skeptical.
One. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
If he's doing a fair bit of damage, it can work, but that also does change up the role of how you should be playing support. So now your primary responsibility is healing the tank, and the Zen's primary responsibility is bouncing the orb between both you and the 2 DPS. I mean, and then you heal the DPS when you're able to, but your primary responsibility right now is to heal the tank. Like, you are the main healer now, whereas before you weren't. You saw the trap, but you walked into it. So you got to be a little bit more mindful of that. Also be careful of standing in this vicinity right there, because that is a landmine of random damage just being shot at like this little section right there. So you got to be careful about where you stand when you're pushing on this area, because you'll catch a lot of random damage, and you only have a Zen for other heals. So if you die, your team's pretty much screwed. And if you take a bunch of damage and you need the healing orb, then your team is pretty much screwed, because now all the heals are being directed to essentially you. So when you play next to a Zen, you got to change up your whole play style. Now, one thing I see here is there's 3 sentries right there. So one thing I like to do on this map is I will either on Lucio or Kiriko. Let me clear this. I will get up to here, come down to here, and shoot those sentries. Assuming nobody's in this room, obviously, but usually this area is pretty empty, pretty free to go to. Shoot the sentries and get back out, either teleport, speed boost, whatever. And then once the sentries are clear, communicate to your team to move in.
Restoring balance.
Waste of an E right there, not needed. He was safe. And again, you just got to be careful where you stand at this area, because you're catching random damage. You caught the javelin that time. You just got to be careful about that. Yeah, nobody's shooting at this tire, so you would have liked to have seen that. People shooting at those tires.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah, those sentries aren't even dying. You were able to take 2 out as they were being shot out, but yeah, it's too little too late.
Hello.
Kaiki.
Aerial positioning underway. Anna, up ahead.
Heal your May. Heal your May. I felt a little on the deep side, like starting that a little too deep in. I'd like to see a Ramatra ulting here. Okay, there he goes. Yeah, so that was a little, like, you were a little too pushed forward on that ult. You could have done it further back and still gotten most of that distance, because they're mostly playing up. But that Ramatra didn't seem ready for your ultimate. The supports didn't feel ready. Like, nobody felt ready for that. So for this to be a 5-stack, I'm not feeling any coordination here. Like, the communication does not really seem to be here.
Get ready.
Let's go.
Coming back.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Ready for duty. I am securing the point. Ice wall coming up.
Careful. We're outnumbered.
60 seconds.
Your team's like so spread out too.
Breeze brings relief.
So yeah, heal up your tank and go back in as 5 here. Careful where you're standing, you're gonna catch a lot of random damage.
Hello.
You're standing like right in the worst spot to be catching random damage.
My gift to you.
Shoot the... Okay. Zarya did it. I was gonna say shoot the trap.
Helden sterben nicht.
Keep attacking until the last second.
Yeah, so that Zarya's in a pretty terrible spot. Like, look where they're at. They're so deep in. You'd really like to see that Zarya more on the outskirts, kind of like either right in there or right in here. You teleporting in there puts you now into a rough spot. And this is where you got to be careful with Kiriko ult. Sometimes if you teleport to somebody who's in a bad position, you've just amplified that double. Because look, they're so far in the back. Whereas if you, like, say, would have been playing, like, if the Zarya would have been playing more like where the Mei is, and then you're kind of a little bit further back than that, you're all going to benefit from that. Like, the Zarya was just too far up.
10 seconds remaining.
And it looks like it cost you the game.
The enemy is being revived.
Yeah. So, alright, number one, coordination. Didn't feel very coordinated at all. 2, your E ability just didn't seem like you weren't maximizing the value of it by a long shot. That Mei ult toward the end was a great example of that. Start trying to pay more attention to what you should be cleansing and kind of knowing when to expect it more. Try to start working on that timing, looking at the enemy team composition and starting to make mental note of, okay, I need to be cleansing an Anonade, or I need to be, or if there's nothing else to cleanse, maybe they're running an Ash and, you know, wait for the TNTs to set people on fire. Obviously still throw it at people that are low when it's needed, but weigh it against the other things you could potentially be cleansing or expected to be cleansing. 3 ults with Ramatra. That, again, this was a 5-stack, so I'm not really sure where that coordination was going back to number 1, but, you know, pocketing your Ramatra when he's ulting is very important to do, at least until next season, and then at that point, things may change with the nerf to his ultimate, but which I don't think it will in terms of a support side of things. I think you're still going to need to be pocketing your Ramatra when he ults. But with that said, like when you teleported to the Mei instead of the Ramatra, that could have potentially won you a team fight. So yeah, and then number 4, abilities. I didn't see you wall climbing much, and because of that, I felt like your positioning suffered to some degree from it. You could have been playing more like mid ground on the second point when they were early in the second point. As an example, you did wall climb to some extent. Like we saw you wall climb the castle door at that last team fight to kind of get out of harm's way a little bit, which was a good thing. But don't abandon your wall climb. There's places to use it at just about every part of that map almost. So keep your wall climb ability, your teleports going. You're a very high mobility character on Kiriko. Make sure you're playing that way. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.